So it's early February 2026. The calendar has officially turned. The holiday returns are, well, they're mostly processed. And if you work in retail, you know exactly what this vibe is right now. It's a very specific frequency.
It is the morning after.
It really is, isn't it?
Yeah.
The National Retail Federation's big show NRF is in the rearview mirror. The badge lanyards are probably tangled up in a drawer somewhere.
The Javits Center is empty.
Right. But the whole industry is kind of sitting in this weird limbo.
It's a mix of exhaustion and adrenaline. You've just spent days looking at the absolute cutting edge of what is possible.
Exactly. I mean, you've seen the robots patrolling the aisles. You've seen the AI that predicts what a customer wants before they even walk in the door. The, shiny toys factor was off the charts this year.
But now you're back in your desk. The office is quiet.
And the coffee's lukewarm. And you have a P&L to manage.
And that is where the panic can set in. Because seeing the future is the easy part. Buying the tech is, well, relatively speaking, it's easy. But getting 5,000 store associates across 3 time zones to actually use it.
That's the mountain.
That is the mountain.
And that's exactly where we are going today. We're doing a deep dive into this really timely piece of strategy. It's called From NRF to Reality. It was published just recently by Multimedia Plus, and it's designed to tackle this specific post-show hangover.
And what I really appreciate about this source is that it isn't some technical manual. It's not about how to, code the AI or integrate an API. It's more of a psychological roadmap.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, it really tackles the friction between boardroom strategy and breakroom reality.
The boardroom to breakroom gap. Okay, so let's set the stage. It's the start of the new fiscal year. Budgets are locked. The strategy deck is finalized. Why is this specific moment so dangerous for retailers?
Because the energy is, well, it's artificially high. HQ is buzzing. They have the roadmap. They're ready to sprint. But the source identifies this core conflict right out of the gate, what they call the gap between buzz and buy-in.
Which basically means we're excited. Why aren't they?
Precisely. Think about the classic rollout. You have a team at the support center who's been working on, say, a new clienteling app for 8 months. They know every feature. They live and breathe this stuff.
They've lived it.
Then on a Tuesday morning, they just push it to the stores.
And to the store associate who's already juggling 3 customers and a shipment in the back, it is just another icon on an iPad that they do not have time to look at.
It's worse than that. It's an interruption. The source argues that when execution lags, corporate leadership often defaults to one assumption.
Competence.
Competence, yeah. They assume the store teams just don't get it.
Oh, you hear that all the time.
Yeah.
We need to train them harder.
Right.
Or they just aren't tech savvy enough.
Exactly. But this piece just flips that on its head. It argues it's rarely a competence issue. I mean, these are smart people running complex operations. It's an engagement issue.
Yeah.
And here's the key insight. I think if you take nothing else away from this, this is it. Innovation, at its core, is a people game. Technology is just the vehicle.
That is such a critical distinction. Technology is just the vehicle. We so often treat the vehicle like it's the destination. We polish the car, we tune the engine, but we forget to tell the driver where we're actually going.
Or why we're driving there in the first place. If an associate doesn't understand how this new tool helps them, how it helps them make more commission or get home on time or just removes a headache, then it's just noise.
Just another thing corporate wants them to do.
Right.
So let's get practical, because we can talk about engagement all day, but we need tactics. The source offers a framework, and step 1 seems surprisingly low-tech.
It is. Step 1 is start with what's real.
Meaning?
It means before you deploy the AI, before you roll out the new, complex selling ceremony, you have to audit the reality of the store environment. And you do that by asking a very specific kind of question.
Okay, what's the question?
You go to the front line and you ask them, what slows you down? Or maybe, what is the one thing preventing you from delivering the service we're asking for?
That sounds risky. For a corporate leader, you might not like the answer you get.
You almost certainly will not like the answer. They might say, well, the POS system takes 45 seconds to reboot and I lose a sale, or I have to log into 6 different portals just to check inventory.
It's you don't want to hear.
Exactly. But the source argues this discomfort is absolutely necessary.
Why?
It's vital. Because when you use those answers to shape your rollout, you completely change the psychological contract. The conversation is no longer, headquarters bought this cool thing, now use it.
It becomes,
you told us you were frustrated by the slow checkout, so we brought you this tool to solve that exact problem.
So it changes the whole narrative from a mandate to a solution. That is a huge shift.
It makes the associate feel seen.
Mhm.
And in retail, where turnover is always a threat and burnout is real, feeling seen is a retention strategy. It just drops the resistance barrier because they're now co-owners of the solution.
Okay, so we've established the why with the team. We've built some trust. Now we have to actually deploy the thing. This brings us to a concept the source calls digestible moments. This feels like a direct shot at how most companies do launches in February.
Oh, the dreaded Big Bang.
The Big Bang. Describe that for us, for anyone lucky enough to have not lived through one.
You know it. It's February 1st. The store manager opens their email, and there's a 40-page PDF. Links to 3-hour-long webinars they have to watch before the store opens. There's a new dress code, a new return policy.
Oh, my blood pressure is rising just hearing this.
And oh, by the way, here's the entirely new software for the registers that changes everything. Good luck. It's just cognitive overload.
It's crushing. It paralyzes the whole operation.
So the source advocates for the complete opposite. Break the innovation down into these bite-sized testable components.
So instead the whole meal, you're serving tapas.
Chuckles. Exactly. Tapas-style innovation. You introduce one key behavior or one key feature. You let the field digest it. You gather feedback. And then, this is the crucial part the Big Bang misses, you iterate.
Right, because if you drop the whole system at once and there's a bug or a workflow that's clunky, you've just broken the entire store.
And you've lost our credibility. But if you do it in these digestible moments, and the field says, hey, this button is in a weird spot, and you fix it, you have just earned massive trust points. They see their input changing things.
It creates a feedback loop. Feedback, improvement, rollout, repeat.
It's agile methodology, which, software engineers have used for 20 years, but it's finally being applied to retail operations. It respects that the store environment is dynamic.
But here's the challenge. I want to push back a little. We're talking about scale.
Hmm.
If I'm a boutique with 5 stores, sure, I can iterate, I can chat with my managers. But what if I'm a global retailer with 2,000 locations? How do I manage digestible moments without creating total administrative chaos?
That is the million-dollar question. And ironically, this is where technology does come back in. But the source frames it so well. It says the tool should scale human connection, not replace it.
Scale human connection. Okay, unpack that for me.
Well, historically, how did we scale communication? The cascade method, right? CEO tells the VP, VP tells the regional, and so on.
And by the time the message gets to the part-time associate, it's completely garbled. It's the game of telephone.
The passion is gone, the nuance is gone. So the source argues for using a unified platform, a single digital space that connects HQ directly to the front line, but in a human way.
Getting rid of that fragmented system.
Right. Start making them go to App A for scheduling, App B for learning, and the intranet for news. It needs to be one ecosystem. Multimedia Plus, who wrote the source, they talk about this as a centralized hub.
Which just reduces all that friction we talked about earlier.
Drastically. But it also allows for what they call redefining training. And this is the part that I think will really resonate with anyone who has ever fallen asleep during a compliance video.
Which is pretty much everyone listening.
Right. The source frames this as a battle between culture and checklists.
Culture versus checklist.
Yeah.
That sounds like a battle for the soul of the store.
It is. The old way is the checklist. Did you read the PDF? Sign here. It's defensive. It's about covering the company's back.
It's compliance, not learning. You aren't actually checking if they understood it.
Not at all. You can't mandate behavioral change with a signature. So the new way, the post-NRF way, is about embedding learning into the flow of work.
So what does that look like in a busy store?
It looks like the content we consume in our real lives. Short-form video, 30 seconds, very visual. Here's how you handle this new return. Here's how you style this new jacket.
It's like TikTok for the enterprise.
The format, yes. Quick, engaging, mobile first. But the intent is about creating these coaching moments. The source talks about using these platforms to celebrate progress in real time. So if a district is crushing a new initiative, the VP can shoot a quick 20-second video on their phone and blast it out to everyone.
That's the scaling human connection part again. The VP doesn't have to fly to 500 stores to give a high five.
Precisely. It feels personal, but it's distributed digitally. It turns training from a chore into just part of the daily culture.
I want to pivot here because there's a trap that the source warns about. We've got these cool tools, these digestible moments, but there's a temptation, especially right after NRF, to want to do everything.
Ah, yes. Shiny object syndrome.
And the source is very firm on this. It says, field teams crave clarity. And nothing kills clarity like a leadership team that changes its mind every week.
Consistency is the ultimate currency in retail ops. If you
Well,
change the priority every Monday, the store teams learn a very dangerous lesson.
to just wait.
Wait it out.
Yeah.
Don't bother learning this because by next week they'll have moved on to something else.
That's a culture killer. So how do you avoid that?
The advice here is brutal prioritization. Identify the 2 or 3 things. That's it, not 10. 2 or 3 things you want every single associate to know, believe, and act on this quarter.
That is so hard for executives, though. They have 10 departments all clamoring for attention.
It is painful, but if you push 10 things, you get 0. If you push 3 and you say them over and over again, from the CEO down to the shift supervisor, you actually get execution.
And the source mentions you have to say them more than once.
Repetition is the mother of learning, and consistency is the mother of trust. If I know what the priorities are and they stay the priorities for 90 days, I can actually build my work habits around them.
Okay, there's one last piece to this puzzle. It's about the mechanics of building this tech. I think there's a lot of pressure on retailers to feel like they have to be technology companies now.
The not invented here syndrome.
Right. But the source takes a strong stance on this. Don't reinvent the wheel.
They argue that the retail tech space is mature now. This isn't 2010. You don't need to hire 50 developers to build a training app. There are partners who have been doing this for a very long time.
And the source mentions Multimedia Plus specifically here, which, makes sense. They wrote it. But the context is what caught my eye. They've been doing this for 3 decades.
Hitchin Tech Years is basically a millennium.
Truly. But they're not selling CD-ROMs anymore. They're integrating AI. And there's a specific example they use, something called Chloe.
Yes, the AI-powered persona.
Walk us through that, because AI is a buzzword we hear all the time. How is something like Chloe actually practical for someone listening right now?
So think about the bottleneck we just discussed.
Yeah.
Creating those digestible moments. Who actually makes all those short, fresh videos?
An instructional designer who takes like 3 weeks to write a script, get it approved, hire a voice actor.
Exactly. It's too slow for retail. By the time the video's done, the promotion is over. So Chloe represents this new wave of partner-driven AI. It lets a retailer input the raw info, the what, and the AI generates the script, the voiceover, even the on-screen avatar in multiple languages almost instantly.
So it solves the speed problem.
It solves the speed and the scale problem. If you need to train teams in Tokyo, London, and New York on the same day in their own languages, you can't do that manually anymore. You need a partner tool.
It goes back to that core theme. Let the retailer focus on retail strategy and let the partner handle the delivery mechanism.
Correct. Don't spend your capital building a video player. Spend it on your product and your people.
So bringing this all together, here we are, February 2026. The fiscal year is ticking. We have the inspiration from NRF. We know the pitfalls of the Big Bang. We know we need to engage the human element first.
The where to go from here moment.
The source really emphasizes that this is the pivotal time to shift from being flashy to being intentional.
It boils down to those 3 pillars we've been circling. Clarity, knowing those 2 or 3 non-negotiables. Consistency, sticking to them. And the front line, making sure they're co-authors of the solution, not victims of it.
It's shifting the mindset from command and control to empower and enable.
And realizing that the most expensive AI-driven tech in the world is worthless if the person at the register hates using it.
Amen to that. Start small, prove it works, scale it up. It takes the pressure off revolutionizing retail by Tuesday.
And replaces it with making the store better by Wednesday.
A much more achievable goal. Now, before we let everyone get back to their rollout plans, you always have a final challenge for us. What's the thought for this deep dive?
Well, I want to circle back to that very first step we discussed. Start with what's real. We talked about asking what slows them down, but I want to pose a specific and somewhat dangerous challenge to the executives listening.
I'm intrigued. Let's hear it.
Go to your top performing store manager, not the one who tells you what you want to hear, but the one who actually runs a tight ship, and ask them this one question. What is the one thing headquarters ask you to do that actually prevents you from selling?
Ooh, that is a loaded question.
It is, because they will have an answer immediately. Maybe it's a report nobody reads. Maybe it's a compliance check that takes an hour.
Or a mandatory meeting that kills floor coverage during peak hours.
Exactly. But here's the real challenge. Are you prepared to hear the answer? And more importantly, are you prepared to actually stop doing it?
That's the hard part. Adding innovation is easy. Subtracting the old stuff, that takes courage.
But that's where real innovation starts. Not in addition, but in subtraction. clearing the path so people can do the job you hired them to do.
Are you prepared to stop doing it? That is going to linger with me. I suspect there are some weekly reports out there that should be very nervous right now.
I think so too.
Well, on that note, we're going to wrap this up. Good luck with the new fiscal year, everyone. Take those NRF ideas, make them real, make them human, and focus on those 2 or 3 things that really matter. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.
Take care.